What's up with y'all? You break down a regular outcross breeding. So when you're doing the outcross, that basically means, well, not basically, but that means that there's not really no relationship in between the two parents that is being bred at that time. So it's really basically outcross is just two different bloodlines being brought together to possibly create hybrid vigor. Um, Yeah, that's the goal. That's why I would say the goal will be when you're doing the outcross. Um, that's basically what my boy T'Challa is. That's how you get a freak of nature hybrid. Yeah, so when you get a dog like T'Challa, which would be a hybrid vigor, that is saying that it's a offspring of a crossbreed or crossbred. It could be from two highly line bred or highly inbred bloodlines, but when they meet together, that would be considered hybrid vigor. And if it click up well, then you would get a freak that we get to see all over, like Bossy's the Victoria's Secret dog, and or you could go to like T'Challa. If you go to most of the dogs in his litter, or if you really go to his mom or dad, it's nobody of his size and that much muscle mass. He's just a super overall hybrid beast. You could call it like, he had F1, but he got all the best that he could from his parents, and that created hybrid vigor. But that's basically when you're doing the outcross. So when you do it like that, you either want to find bloodlines that have clicked up well in the past, or that's what you're looking to find is a bloodline that clicks up real well with your bloodline. And when you do that hybrid, you will get a freak or something. You should get something really nice for sure, as long as it click up well. So you already know regular breeding or outcross. You got two you got mom and dad. Mom and dad contribute to 50% of the puppies. Um, so mom give 50, dad give 50. But out of each parent, you got their grandparents. So in a regular breeding or outcross, or really just even a line breeding, the parents got 50%. Their grandparents contribute to 25%. Remember, you got four grandparents, two on each side, and then the great grandparents will be, 12.5%, and great 6 point, so on and so on. So that's how I like to do the math to figure out more so where the genes will be getting the pull from. As far as that, of course, you got to go by the dog in front of you. If she doesn't or he doesn't show any traits from 50% or the 25% that you're trying to pull from, then you basically just got to start working with the things that they show you, you know. But like I said, with Chala being such a hybrid vigor, crazy freak of nature, you know that he should be a very well producer, because he basically got he got the best matchup of his breeding, that of the litter that he came out of. So if you don't know where to mean hybrid vigor, I'll probably post a short post something on here so you can read it. Just pause it so you can read it. But it's when the offsprings come out better than the parents. Basically being able to survive more than the parents, still being able to might be bigger, faster, stronger, think smarter, different hunting tactics. Like that's what it mean. A hybrid. Like when they put the what's going right now, and I believe it's wherever the fuck the polar bears. I want to say it's Antarctica or some shit. But yeah, wherever the fuck the polar bears at, they've been breeding with the grizzly bears out there, creating pizzly bears, and they are hybrid vigors. They are better than their parents, so they have a better survival than their parents. You know, polar bears mainly hunt on top of the ice or in the water, and then grizzly bears are able to, eat salmon and eat blueberries, all type of vegetation that's around. So polar bear, I believe, is the only bear that's a carnivore, and then you got all the other bears got more survival to them, so they can eat plants, vegetables, fruits, grass, salmon, fish, red meat, real meat like a elk or something. But that's considered hybrid vigor. Ideally, the grizzly bear would survive better than either one of its parents, a grizzly bear or a polar bear. So that's basically what I'm breaking down. You want to create a hybrid vigor to create that freak that is better than the parents naturally. Um, but yeah, that's how I look at it. So each parent contributes to 50% of the one dog, and their parents contribute 25%. Um, so if you got like a grandparent that you really like, then you kind of want to, of course, make sure you got the traits that can pull out that dog, and then second, you might have to do the breeding twice to get more so that kind of grandparent look, especially if the dogs in front of you don't exactly look more like that one grandparent. Out of the four that they got, it's most likely not going to look exactly like the one that you might be trying to um, do something, bring back as far as the look in your camp or anything like that. You want to make sure your dogs at least got some got enough good traits that you believe can be passed on to um, show that the phenotype of the dog can show itself. Phenotype of the dog should be able to be like when I look at a lot of dogs, I can kind of tell at least what camp they came from. You might have did your own little sauce to it, or did a few more things, but for the most part, you can kind of see where the dogs came from as far as like the start of the bloodline or whatever. Um, Wherever they're at in the process of their dogs, you can kind of see where the dogs derive from. Um, that's having great grandparents that was crazy producers, and they actually do produce their look and everything else. So look might be how they act, anything, but yeah, that's how I look at it. A regular outcross, if I were to ever do an outcross, my main goal would be for hybrid vigor to create um, an offspring way better than their parents naturally. Um, that can be in size, intelligence, just certain traits, athleticism. That can be in many things, but most of the time it's in way more than just one or two categories when you really do have a litter that clicks up on the level of hybrid vigor. So yeah, I just wanted to explain to y'all uh basically my outlook on outcross, and if I was to do it, what my goal would be as far as hybrid vigor, and everything else is knowing what you got in front of you, and kind of knowing what the dogs that's in front of you has in them. And once you can do that, you got a way better chance of picking um, your true vision or your true goals of the dog that you're trying to get or create, or whatever your goals is as far as breeding. But yeah, breeding isn't like, I wouldn't call it no rocket science. Basically anybody can do it, but not everybody can do it great. Like anybody can go have a kid with anything. You know what I'm saying? Um, just because you went and had a kid with somebody that was they ran track in high school, don't mean that y'all kids gonna be track stars. They can have a grandparent effect, and none of the grandparents was good at track. You was just a hybrid vigor, and you was much better than your parents at sports, athleticism, all that type of stuff. Just way more agile than your parents. It was the mix of the outcross that made you a hybrid vigor to make you way more like being able to survive naturally than your parents would have, or it's time to evolve and have a hybrid that needs to think better so it can survive easier. It might be a new source of food or um, whatever else in the wild. If you was to take the salmon away from the bears, what would they do? If you was to take the seals away from the polar bears, what would they do? Well, they would go um, basically more to some land and start finding things on land to eat, or start eating like the grizzly bears and eating um, vegetation and plants and berries and all that type of stuff. So that's hybrid vigor is really creating a a much better dog than the offsprings, and more so at the time that is needed. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, if y'all got goals of being, breeding or creating some real good dogs, just definitely do some research and understand what you're trying to do, and what you're trying to create. I like I said, I had did mom and son, and I got a boy that looks just like mom. So not to say, and when I did it, that was basically the blueprint to recreate exactly a dog like mom. That's like the blueprint to do it. If you want to curate, if you got a dog in a litter and you want to basically recreate like that litter, then the highest form of inbreeding would be two litter mates together, two siblings from the same exact litter being bred together should create that same litter over again, and that's the highest form of inbreeding. It's not really much genetics for them for that breeding to pull from if you was to do brother to sister from the same litter. But if you was to do half brother half sister, it's so much more for them dogs to pull from. You can still basically get a hybrid vigor out of that, because the other genes from what, if they got different moms, when they add up, that's how you create basically hybrid vigor when they, if they click up well. So um like I said, just don't stop researching and studying if you ever plan on breeding. You could definitely always learn something, and it ain't much to it. It's just having a goal in mind first, and then um having a vision with some goals, keeping the dog safe and healthy during the process, and if you can whelp the litter, so you can get a best pick that from the litter you didn't really whelp. It'd be harder for you to pick. It's not like impossible to get the best dog or a good dog, but it's going to be harder because you didn't really get to see them when they was grown whelping, So I feel like that part is a huge step in picking a great dog. At least seeing how they was around the pack when they was all together. I think all that really makes a difference. But yeah, breeding, a regular outcross breeding is just 50% of its parents and 25% of the grandparents. Um, After that, you just need to know what you got in front of you, concentrate it, and make the right picks from what you was looking for in the beginning. It ain't